Welcome back to another chapter of Upcycling the American Dream, the story of Hamilton v. Vortic. I'm RT Custer. Make sure that you stay tuned to the end, where I let you know the best way to follow along and see the next chapter. So what Tyler and I were talking about all happened in the 2015-2016 realm. And like we talked about, we actually received the cease and desist prior to shipping a single Vortic watch, because that was, after Kickstarter, but before actually starting production. In 2016 and then early 2017, we were startup. It was myself, Tyler, our original designer, and we had a couple other people helping us out on contract and things like that. We were a small company. We had a general attorney at that time, and like Tyler and I talked about, he had an opinion on this. We just kind of handed it to him and said, please keep talking to these people that sent us the cease and desist, and maybe we can work this out. Hamilton at that time had a different attorney, the first attorney on the case, and they seemed fairly amicable. And then in mid-2017, things escalated very quickly. Hamilton changed counsel. We actually got really close on basically making this go away and figuring some kind of deal out and avoiding a lawsuit. And I didn't really want to do that, but we were advised we should at least try. And so we were trying, we were talking, we were having all these conversations, and then they switched attorneys. And as soon as they switched attorneys, these new people came out the gate fast and just didn't give us a chance to put a word in edgewise. It was everything changed. And then we got served with the official start of the lawsuit. I think that was July of 2017. So when this is all escalating really fast, and we realized, okay, we're officially being sued now, it's not just a cease and desist, I, against the advice of my attorneys at the time and other people, tried everything I could to avoid a lawsuit. And I found every single person that had a C-level or a president or a vice president level in SWATCH Group and Hamilton that I could find on LinkedIn. And I sent them a LinkedIn message and an email. The message was something to the effect of, I'm just a kid. We're just trying to figure this out. This seems like a huge misunderstanding. We're taking pocket watches and turning them into wristwatches. Yes, they're Hamilton, some of them. We're trying to preserve American history one watch at a time. It's pocket watch conversions. People have been doing this for 100 years. I'm confused, and I'd like to just have a chance to come and share my story with you and see if maybe we can avoid legal stuff. We can avoid tons of money on both sides. We can avoid this hard conversation and just have one casual conversation about just hey, maybe there's something here. I got a couple responses, but most responses were just directing me back, slapping me on the wrist for going outside the legal process, which is obviously frustrating, and saying, hey, you should really just go through the attorneys, this is out of our hands, kind of stuff. And so I was like, okay, let me throw a Hail Mary. Let me try one more thing. Especially after we got served with the official lawsuit, I was just like, okay, let me just try everything. So I wrote a letter, which I hope we can pull up a picture of this letter. I think that's okay. We might have to blur out exactly what's said on it, but you'll get the gist. In hindsight, I should have got a ruler and lined up the left side of it for myself, because as I wrote, I just kept kind of veering off to the right. I was probably nervous and shaking as I'm writing this letter, but I wrote a letter to the CEO of Swatch, who owns Hamilton, all these brands. What I was trying to say was, I will come to you anywhere in the world, anytime, at my expense. I'm going to bring you my watches. I'm going to show you what we do. And I think over a cup of coffee, we can figure this out. I wrote it, put it in an envelope, and overnighted it with signature required to the SWATCH Group headquarters in Switzerland. Most expensive letter I've ever sent. And in my mind, the most important letter I've ever sent. And this, for again, additional context, this is mid-2017. My first son, Sawyer, was born June 10, 2017. I think we got the paperwork for the lawsuit, like making it official in July of 2017. So I have a 1-month-old at this point. We're also trying to run a business. You know, this is 3 or so years into trying to figure out how to take pocket watches, turn them into wristwatches, and sell them over the internet. And that was my Hail Mary. Sent the letter. And then I got an email, I don't know how long after, with that letter attached. They sent it, I won't say who it was, but someone very high up in the SWATCH Group sent the letter back to me, copied me on the email, or sent the letter to me with it attached, copied all the attorneys, everybody involved, big slap on the wrist, you know, basically scolding me for going outside of the legal process and trying to handle this, you know, a different way. And said something to the effect of, and this is my opinion, I'm just sharing my opinion on what happened, and this is so long ago. I mean, Sawyer is 5 now. So they said the letter was as useless and wasteful as the postage I used to ship it there. And the email was signed off something to the effect of, "Don't worry, kid, this will all be over soon." And that was mid to late 2017. That was the start of the official lawsuit. And that was direct from the world's largest watch company to me. And I think that's also why they listed me in the lawsuit. So when you look at all the legal documents, they didn't just sue Vortic Watch Company, they sued Robert Thomas Custer, which is what RT stands for, by the way. So every single legal document, they were suing me personally and Vortic Watch Company. So do I regret sending that letter? Absolutely not. I tried everything. Did it make it worse? Probably. But, you know, here we go. Thanks for watching another chapter of Upcycling the American Dream. It's important to note that all the viewpoints, stories, and facts shared in these chapters are coming from me, myself, and I, Robert Thomas Custer. They are mine alone and are not shared by Vortic LLC, Vortic Watch Company, and its related parties. For our full legal description and our full legal disclaimer, go to vorticwatches.com/victory. You'll also find at that link a special offer and a link to pre-order our upcoming book. Again, vorticwatches.com/victory.